Hey guys, it's Joe, the Joe Madden Sports Podcast. I'm joined by Lauren. You can find her on social media at Lauren the Better. Lauren, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Joe. I'm so excited to meet you and, talk to you. I'm like majorly fangirling. You're just such a boss in this space. And so it's just so great to be here and talking to you.
Oh, well, I feel exactly the same way, Lauren. I am so glad we've connected on socials. I can't wait, actually, till we go to a game together because that's happening in our future at some point. It probably will be when our Chargers and Raiders play each other. That could be an epic battle. That's for sure. Let's talk about you, Lauren. How'd you get started in this industry?
Yeah, so I've always loved sports betting. So it's no secret that I love Las Vegas. And then certainly in the last couple of years, I really love Circa and I really love Stadium Swim. So sports betting's kind of been part of my kind of go-to Vegas activity. I love sitting at sports books and just kind of watching games, just sitting back, debating what I'm going to actually throw down at the counter. So I just like love the energy of all of that. I live in Texas though. And so Texas, you cannot bet on sports. I am a good girl, so I do not have any offshore book accounts. So the best I can do here in Texas is DFS.
Yeah.
And so, at least on the social media front, I, a couple months ago, just started sharing my DFS picks, literally just for anyone to see if they wanted to see them. And so, I'd share my picks. I was starting to I got started during NBA season. So that was kind of like when I was getting into it and, specifically with Prize Picks and Underdog. And, I shared my picks and I kind of focused on only picking overs. So my actual original Instagram name was Lauren Takes the Over. Now it's just Lauren the Better because now I don't discern against just overs anymore. And so I started getting people engaging with me and they kind of give me crap for the picks I was making, or they'd root for me when, my picks ended up hitting. And then it became, hey, Lauren, what do you think about this card? Would you take this? And, and then it just started kind of becoming a thing. And then I find myself in Vegas kind of enough, like for the reasons I said, I love going to Vegas and going to sports books. And so I've had a couple of Las Vegas trips in that time period since I kind of started the socials. And so then my DFS kind of content became betting binges in my like Vegas days of like, all right, I'm in Vegas, I'm going to go nuts. I can actually do this. And so then it became, all right, I'm going to put down this future and, all of these things. And I kind of got like a following from there. And actually, funny enough, I was on with the Bostonian versus the Book last week. And I know you know those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. They're awesome.
Guys. They are awesome. And I was talking with them on their show last week because I was sharing like the worst beat I've ever had, which was I had put down $500 on the Las Vegas Aces against the Sky. Totally should have been a lock, but I figured, okay, I'm gonna like look really cool putting $500 on like a very safe bet.
Yeah.
And then it like took a really horrible turn, and Las Vegas Aces like self-destructed in the third quarter, and the rest is history. But what became really fun about that, and I actually don't regret that for a second, is it kind of allowed me to like show like who I am, and which is, dude, this is all freaking funny, and I put $500 on a bet that, if you're not putting down more, never put down more than you can stomach losing. And that was the case. It was a expensive joke. It was an expensive joke on me, but I was like a ton of fun. And, Twitter was like giving me so much shit for that. And it became kind of this running gag. And so ended up kind of getting attention that way too. And, and now, of course, we're in ML, kind of the summer slump. Things are, hockey's over, NBA's over. It's really just MLB. And I love baseball, but you start to get a point where it kind of becomes oversaturated.
Absolutely.
At least for me. So I am like you, super stoked for football season. I feel like I can like feel it in the air already. Like there's some mornings where I wake up and it's like, I can smell that fall air. I can smell like the tri-tip on the grill now. Like, you start to smell tailgates and everything.
So love tailgate season. That's for sure.
Football is like the best, like just, from a sporting perspective, a cultural perspective. Of course, the 4th of July is this weekend, and what's more American than football? And so, NFL futures are like my love language. I just love NFL futures. And why I like futures, so not everybody likes futures.
Yeah.
There's a few reasons they don't. One, it locks up your money. Some people don't like that. It's delayed gratification. A lot of people, they like the dopamine hit of, getting their payout from that game that they put a
Yeah.
wager down on. But I like kind of like the slow burn. Like it's the same reason I like fantasy football. Like it kind of gives you for fantasy football, it gives you certain players that you're going to pay attention to the whole season. Like it keeps you kind of like sticky. And that's the same reason why I like NFL futures, where it's like, you just kind of pay attention the whole season long, like how your teams are going to do.
Yep.
And so the way I approach futures is I always just kind of step away from the totals, and I just ask myself, okay, is this team going to be better or worse than they were last season? Like that's kind of the first question I ask myself. And I do like picking over. So I typically kind of honing in on, okay, who had like a totally shitty year last year, because there's no way they can be that bad again 2 years in a row, right?
Absolutely.
So now, and then there's also, and you'll hear when I talk about one of my NFL future win total picks is on the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills were actually really good last season. And I actually think they're going to be even better this coming season. So the totals for the Bills is at 11.5 right now, which is the highest totals in all of the league. 11.5, which seems high. And, of course, in the context of there's 17 games in the season, it doesn't leave a lot of margin for losses. But when you look at the Bills season and their schedule, I think their hard games are kind of early on.
Yeah.
I think they'll use that probably to their benefit of, they might get beat up a little bit in the beginning there. They've got Rams, Chiefs, Bengals, and Green Bay. Maybe they'll lose to. I'll be conservative and assume they lose to Green Bay. I don't think they will, though. And so when you take those out, like they're sitting over. So I like what they look like. I mean, when again, like looking at them against last season, they lost to the Patriots when I frankly don't think they should have. I think it was a fluke of a loss. So kind of correct their record from that. They had a good year last year too. And I'm a big fan of Josh Allen. I think he's a beast. I think, the Bills are the Super Bowl favorite right now. Josh Allen is the MVP favorite right now. Like I think the sky's the limit for those guys. So I'm hammering the over on that season win total for the Bills.
Okay. Now I have to ask you, when you look at win totals, are you looking at the number the book is putting out before you come up with your own number, or are you looking at their schedule, formulating your own number first? Because that's something I'm big into. I hate seeing the lines before the books put them out. I like coming up with my own line and then finding value within there. Which way are you going with that, Lauren?
That doesn't surprise me at all that you approach it that way, because you're so methodical about like your approach, like, which I love about you. You're such like a pro when it comes to that. I'm far lazier. I'm more like, all right, let me see what the book puts up, and then I'll like do kind of like, sanity test on like what I think feels right. So I'm a little more reactive. Sounds like you're proactive, and like that's
we're going to have fun hanging out. That's exactly what that tells me. It's going to be a dangerous time when we hit Vegas together. That's for sure.
I know.
So you live in Texas, but you are a Raiders fan. Let's hear how you became a Raiders fan, Lauren.
So I live in Texas, yes. But like many Texans, I was actually born and raised in California. A lot of Californians now live in Texas. So I'm born and bred Fresno, so California Central Valley. And so Raiders have some California Central Valley ties. In fact, Josh Allen does as well, which is why I'm kind of partial to Mr. Allen. But I went to Fresno State, and for the Raiders, and why I like the Raiders is Derek Carr was a quarterback when I was there. Actually, he was like an underclassman. I'm older than Derek Carr, but we were like, breathed the same air at Fresno State.
You breathe the same air as Derek Carr. I love that.
Amazing. And then Devontae Adams is joining the roster this coming season, and I think that's going to be a game changer for the Raiders. I think Derek Carr is, and I know I'm segueing now to my Raiders win total pick. Spoiler alert, I think they're going to go
exactly where I wanted you to go with this, Lauren. I'm so glad you took the way that we wanted to go.
But I think he's a great quarterback. I think he has not historically had a team that can catch the ball for him, and that's, kind of giving him a rough go. So having Devontae Adams in a receiver role, like, we know they've got chemistry. They played together when they were, kids in that regard. Like, it's such a romantic, like, circle of life. And I'm excited to see them. And I know that's sort of a hot take that, the debate of, are the Raiders going to actually be good this year? Or are they going to be bad?
Well, we look at them last year. Look at all the ups and downs the Raiders had. They definitely are a team that, if we don't see all the drama off the field, I think this team can go far. I hate to say it as a Chargers fan, but as a sports bettor, as a love of the game, I think the Raiders definitely will have a better season.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm glad you agree with me. That makes me feel really good, because if you say so, then that means it's like definitely right.
I hate to say so though, Lauren. It's like, it hurts my heart when I talk the Raiders will have a good season, but
facts over feelings. I know.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the win total then. What are you liking for it?
So the listed win totals, because like I mentioned, I'm a lazy bettor. The win totals are at 8.5. So I think they're going to be easily over 10 in the end. So I think 8.5 is a pretty good total line. I think that's low for them. So to me, that's a pretty conservative total. So hammer that over.
Yeah, I love the over in this one. I really do think they hit that 10 or 11 mark. I think they have a good season. Like I said before, when we were off air, I would love to see us competing for that division. The Raiders and the Chargers, I think that will be fantastic. We don't need to see KC taking it again, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And then we've got Russell Wilson thrown into the mix with the Denver Broncos now. How do you think they will do this season? I know you don't have a win total on it, but just general thoughts on the Broncos this coming season?
Yeah, so I know a little bit about the Broncos. I think some of the opinions are that there's a little bit too much hype around them going into this season. I'm not sure. We'll see. I think they've got a great franchise. I know there's a lot going on there anyway at the franchise level as it is. So we'll see. I don't have much of an opinion on them right now, but.
Well, I definitely think this division is going to be the best division in the whole football league. When we look at it, we've got so much competition. It's just we all have to get past KC. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, Lauren, you have one more win total. You're looking at the Bills here. So what are you thinking for this Bills team?
Well, you mean the Texans?
Sorry, we did talk about the Bills already. The Texans.
I feel like an ass, like even talking about the Bills in the same breath as the Texans, because the Texans are like way crappier. But that's what I actually like about them. So they were really crappy last year, and to the point where I even asked myself, like, are they actually trying to be bad? Like, I mean, they're so bad. I think though, going into next year, again, asking the question of like, are they just going to be better or worse than last year? I think they're going to be better. The Watson drama is behind them now. I think they've got some rebuilding ahead of them the next couple of years. But again, so I'm looking at the win totals there. So it's 4.5 is the totals. They won 4 games last year. I think kind of when you look at it from that perspective, they've got to win more than 4 games this coming year. So hammering that over too. We'll see. And also selfishly, I love that they're so, viewed as so bad, because that means their tickets are cheaper. And given that I live in San Antonio, Texas, it's the closest NFL team. So I'd like to go to as many of those games as I can. So keep them cheap.
Absolutely. Which games are you going to be hitting up this fall then, Lauren? Do you have a list that you've already scheduled?
I don't have anything scheduled right now. I do want to catch some Cowboys games. I would love to go to a Raiders game in Vegas. I know that the arena or the stadium is just amazing. So would love to go check that out.
Yeah, and you got to get to Vegas again soon
we need to get to Vegas soon.
We need to get to Vegas soon. That is for sure. I was thinking I might go in August, so we'll see what shakes out. Definitely would be a fun time. We need to hang out for sure and watch these games. I am going to warn you though, I am a yeller when I watch games. I cannot control.
I expect nothing less from you, Joe. That's great.
Everyone's like, she's always smiling until you see me watching a game and losing a bet. There is no smiling happening then. But Lauren, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on. Can you let everyone know where to follow you on all social media platforms?
Sure. I'm Lauren the Bettor on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of it.
Love it. I love it. Keep up the great work. Keep crushing it in this industry, Lauren. It was an absolute pleasure to have you on. Can't wait to do it again.
Thanks, you too, Joe.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.